Itzage's Dilemma Tag. Today our crew of original series Romulans is attempting a planet mission. Let's have a look. As you can see, our crew consists of superstars like Mr. Spock and Karis, and also a couple of other characters that bring a good mix of skills. We are attempting a planet mission in the neutral zone, and our opponent has already managed to get a lower dex on the table, and there is also a hidden agenda which they seeded at the start of the game. Let's have a look at the first mission. It is Sleeper Trap. Our opponent may download to one planet here up to 3 different Universal Cardassians and 1 hand weapon. So they will download the Call, Goran, and Jazat, as well as a hand weapon, the Cardassian Disruptor Rifle, and Goran will immediately trigger his special download of the Cardassian Disruptor. And then they may, if possible, initiate a personal battle. To do that, they need a leader. The Call has leadership. So they can do that. They initiate personal battle, but hang on, our opponent reveals the hidden agenda. It's a sniper. At start of each battle, you initiate on a planet if you have a phase or disruptor present. They do. They may target one of our personnel. Immediately probe, and then something happens to that personnel. They decide to target our lovely Mr. Spock, and then they probe. Probing means revealing the top card of the deck. It's Rebecca Sullivan. Now we check whether any of the icons on this card are found on the sniper probes. We don't find the staffing icon, we don't find the Ketracel, we don't find the equipment, but we have the marquee faction icon. So the result in the first line here, target mortally wounded, applies to Mr. Spock. He is mortally wounded, that means he cannot participate in battle. Note that Rebecca Sullivan also has the gold command icon, which also appears, but it appears at a later point. So it's irrelevant if one of the earlier probe icons has already been found on the card. It says to put the probe card on the bottom of the deck, so we do that. And then we can proceed with our pairing. Mr. Spock has already been mortally wounded, so he won't participate in the battle. All the others are put on the crew, shuffled. The Cardassian player also puts his guys in the crew there, shuffles them up, and then let's just pair them. Karis fights against Jazat. Jazat is +7 from the lower decks and the 2 hand weapons, so that's 15. He can stun Karis. Next pairing, it's Charvanek against Goran, who can be on 14. So he decides to mortally wound Charvanek. The last one here, it's Vesnik, and we have the Call left on the Cardassian side, who is on 16, and he can mortally wound Vesnik as well. All the ones who are not stunned or mortally wounded yet can then add their strength, meaning the Romulan player has 6 and 7 for 13, and 7 for 20, and 8 for 28, which is not enough to beat the 3 Cardassians with the lower decks and weapons boost. So one of these Romulan guys will then be selected to be mortally wounded as well. So we have 4 casualties here. Karis was only stunned, so he is just stopped like the others. And that ends the mission attempt because we have battled. If we have a second crew, we can send in right now. Otherwise, we would probably have to pass the turn to our opponent. On our opponent's turn, of course, they won't be idle. They have some easy targets on the planet, so they will attempt to battle them again with their equipment. Again, at the start of the battle, they will pick a guy, and for some reason, they choose one of our security guys for the sniper. We probe again. It's another copy of Rebecca Sullivan. So usually when you play a deck with a sniper, you construct your deck in a way that you have as many good probes, so the mortally wounded ones, as possible. Maybe a few that will only stun the personnel, but you keep the number of really bad probes that would discard the incident without any benefit as low as possible. So in this deck, I think we have about an 85 to 90% chance to mortally wound. And there are only a handful of really, really bad draws. And usually you can find a way to download these cards early on. So the sniper can be set up quite conveniently here. Send to bottom of deck. Okay, so Borix is mortally wounded as well. The others will fight again. And as you can see, they are 8, 8, and 7. So the chances to mortally wound them are no longer as good as they used to be. But we can try again. We have Dividius on 7, fighting Deckhall with a 16, so we can mortally wound him. But the other guys, they are on 15, fighting an 8, so that's only a stun. And there's another 8, fighting a 14, so that's another stun. But one of these two guys will then be killed. So with these two battles, our opponent has eliminated 7 of our 8 guys before we get to do a second attempt. Now, let's just say they have a very good deck that draws cards very quickly, meaning they can play a lot of guys again. So let's just give them all these personnel back and send them into another mission attempt. This time they get to see the second dilemma. It's Temptations of the Flesh. 1 personnel is stopped, random selection for each objective in play. That's on both players' sides of the table combined. So when you run this dilemma, you usually have a couple of objectives yourself, and then your opponent might have an assigned mission specialist or something like that. So chances are that we get the full 5 stops out of this. So let's shuffle them. Let's just take 3 on the table who will not be stopped. Talman, Mr. Spock, and Vesnik. So we look at the requirements. To get past requires a gold star. Yes, Mr. Spock has a gold star, so they go through. That dilemma is successfully passed. So they can run into the next one, and they encounter a Berserk Changeling. Unless 2 hand weapons present, nope. Or 3 security. There's 1. There's another one, but we don't find a 3rd one, or Changeling Sweep, or Shapeshift Inhibitor, or Interface Generator, or Moropol. None of this applies. So one of them is randomly selected to be killed. Vesnik is killed. And of course the mission attempt ends. Now our opponent still has his Cardassians present, so again they can battle the 7 guys that are on the planet, again using the sniper to kill one of them. And remember, you can have more than 1 copy of sniper out. So they get to wreak havoc. Again, usually with the sniper we will go for the skills that this last dilemma requires here, and then we try to eliminate as many of them as possible. So if you see something like that, you have very good chances of seeing this combo on another planet as well, if your opponent is playing a sniper strategy. So what you can do is attempt both planets on the same turn, if you expect something like this, or if you have seen something like Sleeper Trap first, because your opponent can only download personnel once per turn. So if they have a Sleeper Trap on one planet and they download these personnel, if you then immediately attempt another planet mission and they have a Sleeper Trap there as well, they cannot actually use the download because they have already downloaded personnel before. So that's one way of playing around it, but still this combo can be very devastating. Okay, that's it for today. Until next time, bye bye.